Hey guys, how are you? Welcome back to the sweet spot. I am so happy you're here. It is such a beautiful time of year here in Arizona, and I'm feeling extra thankful for it because it's still the first week of October and I'm wearing a sweatshirt. Yes, I have the air conditioning rolling. Yes, I have the fan going in my office. But these mornings and these evenings of like 60-degree weather are bringing me so much joy and giving me so much life. I am in heaven. And so I'm pretending like it's fall in the middle of the day, but it really actually feels like fall in the mornings and the evenings. And I'm so grateful for that. Um, if you have been following me for a while or you have been getting my emails, and if you're not on my email list, we will link it in the show notes so that you can get on there. I have this little hobby where I notice a word or a word is delivered into my awareness, and then I can't stop thinking about it. And so I kind of play like wordsmith where I will like pull apart words or really like dive into the definition of a word. And then I kind of play this game where I like create my own definition for a word to allow the word to matter more to me, to mean more to me. And so I'm sure that I will be bringing more of these words to the podcast because it's been such a it's almost like a game for me. And of course, because we have brains that do really cool, incredible things through different functions. Of course, once you bring something into your awareness, once you focus on something, you find more of it. And so whenever I hear a word on repeat and I really give it a lot of attention, and I dissect it and I pull it apart, it seems to really resonate in my life and in the lives of those around me, the clients that I serve, the people that I get to do life and have conversations with. And so it has become kind of a fun topic of conversation. And so I'm sure I'll be bringing it in here on the regular. But the word that has dropped in for me so loud and clear, which I think I've actually already said it a few times since we've been on here today, is the word notice. And it's such a simple word, right? It's like I just said a few times, I think I said something like, when you start to notice a word or like something is brought into your awareness, right? This is something that we probably use a lot in the coaching world because what we're doing on a really regular basis in the coaching world is we're bringing awareness to your thoughts, to your beliefs, to your experience. But the word notice seems to be something deeper for me right now. And so we're going to talk about it and I'm going to define it for you. And I'm going to kind of tell you how it has been helpful for me to use this word and put it to practice. And I'm hopeful that it will help you as well. So, dictionary definition of the word notice: it is a noun and a verb. The noun definitions are the fact of observing or paying attention to something, the notification or warning of something, especially to allow preparations to be made. In the verb sense, it is to become aware of, right? So to notice it, I'm starting to notice this or that. And the noun version is like you received a notice or a warning, a notification of something, especially to allow preparations. And so if you think about it from a brain function, which I promised myself I wasn't going to like totally nerd out on like neuroscience on the podcast, but I think I'm going to because it's just part of who I am. But if you think about the word notice from a primal brain function, noticing is like being vigilant. It is like being hyper aware of your surroundings from a safety perspective, especially used in the noun application is like, especially to allow preparations to be made. That is like to be safe, to keep yourself safe, to be aware of potential danger. Right? And so you think about the word in that sense and how often we are noticing things around us to keep us safe. And so it really is a primal brain function to like bring awareness to the things in our environment that might be harmful to us, that might be of danger. But here's what I want to shift you into. is I want you to start noticing the things you're not already seeing. When I think of the word notice, as I want it to be like this abundant, beautiful word and to serve me and the season of life that I'm in, I want to take it a step further than even just the verb of like to become aware of. I think the word notice is to pause. I think it's maybe to pause and see the things that I wasn't seeing before. Maybe it's to see the things that I wasn't seeing before within the same daily circumstances that I live in all the time. Right? Like I think it's almost like this deeper form of presence. And I think this is how this word can be so powerful to us if we're practicing that type of work. Like if if you're like me and you're like, gosh, I really want to be more present. I want to be where I am. I'm actually really contemplating getting a tattoo that says be here now. Because even with all of the thought and energy and nervous system work and all of the soul work that I've done, the thing that I am still working on is being right where I'm at, being present to what is right in front of me, taking time to observe and pay attention to the goodness of this life, consciously pausing and noticing what's available in my experience. And so I think we get to take the word notice and we get to go like, that isn't just pausing. It isn't just presence. It's pausing long enough to be fully present and available to notice what is. And I want to tell you the story about how this kind of dropped into my awareness is a couple of weeks ago, my husband was out of town and which he travels once a month. So this isn't like out of the norm that he would be gone. I happened to be off that week. So once a month, I actually take a week off of coaching calls, which I will tell you about in another episode that involves the word permission, which is another one of the words that I've pulled apart. But I take a week off of coaching calls every single month to do my own work, to honor my own appointments and different things that I need to take care of in my life, and really just to be in my life and with myself for a week each month. And it has been the gift that keeps on giving. But I think the reason that this word came into my awareness that week is because with Dan gone, I had more time and space to notice things. And he normally works from home too. So even on my off weeks when he's here, there's a lot of interaction between the two of us. And what came into my awareness during that week while he was gone was like how much I was noticing. I was noticing things around the house that I hadn't noticed before. I was noticing things with the kids that I hadn't really stopped and paused to notice before. Of course, when Dan's gone, I absolutely always recognize the things that he does that keeps our life moving. He is such an active role in our home and with our kids. I would actually argue that he probably, from a quantity perspective, does more than I do in terms of time exchange and how he serves and shows up in our home. He's available. He has a little bit more like space flexibility with his job. He can take calls from anywhere. I like to be at my desk. And so he does a lot of the running of the kids. He makes their lunches every day. He does so much around the house and with the kids and in our lives and for me. But that week, because I had more space to notice, I really noticed his absence. I noticed how many times I walked out into the kitchen or walked into the house ready to tell him something and he wasn't there. I noticed the kids and the role that they play in their own lives right now. Like without him here, I was able to see how independent they have become and how competent they are, and how when they get home from school and sometimes I'm still in my office, they unpack their bags and they unpack their lunches and they start on their homework without us even prompting them. And I was able to see it because I had the space, but the word notice kept dropping in like, wow, you're really noticing things that you haven't noticed before. I noticed that Jace's face is like looking a little bit older, my 12-year-old son. I noticed that the way that Sadie's talking it's just more mature. She's using words that she hasn't used before. So it was like this deep level of presence, yes, but I was consciously noticing different things. And so I think this is just our powerful reminder that we have these words and we have these acts and we have these definitions of things that we already know what they are. But what if we really set an intention around some of these words? I think the universe was delivering me this message like very loud and clear that yes, I am more present than I've ever been. I have more time and space in my calendar and in my weeks than I've ever had. I spend more time in the quiet than I've ever spent. But am I noticing my experience? Am I noticing how I feel throughout my days at the level that I want to? Am I noticing the tiny little shifts in my kids? Am I noticing the tiny little shifts within me? Am I allowing myself to notice those things? And if not, what would it look like to lean into that just a little bit more? To become aware of it at just a little bit of a deeper level and to let myself experience it. When I go on my walks, am I actually noticing the beauty that exists on the path that I go on every single day? Am I noticing the changes in me, in my physical self, in my emotional and mental and spiritual self? Am I noticing it? Am I giving myself the gift of noticing? Because I want to. I want to notice. I want to be that present that I'm noticing things. Noticing the things that are like probably pretty normal. Maybe they're not super noticeable. I want to notice those things. And so I want to invite you to do the same. I always love to believe that any message that drops in really loud and clear for me is a message for everyone that I get to do life and business and everything with. And so I want to offer you this same message, this same invitation to maybe pause a little bit more often and just notice. Right? I will talk about the power of a pause in a different episode where we talk about, when we create our experience and we want to be in our conscious brain where our subconscious isn't driving the bus. I will talk about the power of the pause and how it can really allow us to show up the way that we want to in our lives and be who we want to be and respond in a way that we want to respond. And that's a different kind of pause. This is more of a deep, deep presence. So that's what I would invite you to right now. Maybe just stop and notice how you're actually feeling right here and now. Maybe to pause and get quiet long enough to notice that nudge or that inner voice that is calling you to something new or different. Or to notice those desires that have maybe been burning just barely in your soul. And they're just waiting for you to let that flame rise up. It can be the things outside of you that you notice. And it can also be the things within you that you start to notice that we no longer dim, but instead we turn the volume up on or we turn the flame up on. Right? When I imagine a future version of me that exists down the line, I think this is what she's asking of me. I think she's asking me to slow down enough to become fully aware of the gift that is around me all day, every day. And to notice it, to be with it, not just be aware of it, but to be with it. Especially if you're in this season of life that I'm in, where, we really hang our hat on the busyness and how full our days are and how full our schedule is. And all of that is true for me too. I'm not denying that. And I probably wouldn't have it any other way anyway. I wouldn't. But am I noticing what I want to notice? Am I available to that? Because I know in my heart of hearts that I will never regret going all in on the intention to notice at a deep level what is beautiful in this world, in this life, right in front of my face. All right, guys, I would invite you to do the same. I would love to hear from you. If this resonates for you, share it with a friend. But message me. Get on Instagram and message me and tell me how these episodes are meeting you where you're at, because that's my goal always. I want you to feel seen. I want you to get curious about something. I hope that's what today did. I hope today sparked a little bit of curiosity inside of you that's like, huh, I wonder what I could notice over the next 24 hours. That might be just a regular old day, but I wonder what I could notice and how I could let myself experience that. I would love to hear from you on that. All right, I'll see you guys later.